I realize in Canada we have our own Clean Water Act, and I don't know, I'll admit I don't know the regulation and how it's going to be applied. But the question I have is, if this process was safe, why did they have to get an exemption called the Halliburton loophole so they could go ahead in the United States against what the Clean Water Act said?
We have the Clean Water Act, we have a Clean Environment Act, we have many regulations under these acts that apply to the oil and gas industry. They are not exempt from that in our province, and they certainly won't be exempt from that.
Will the government make a commitment to landowners that they will not use road rights to run seismic lines and not inform landowners because they feel they have the right to that on the road, and then the landowner does not need to be informed?
As far as a Thumper truck going on a road, then they are allowed to do that on a road. But the water is tested around the area before, during, and after these Thumper trucks send the vibrations down into the ground. So yes, to answer your question, yes, they are being used on the road.
You agree with that principle then?
They are being used on the road.
You can use public roads to avoid consulting directly with the landowner relating to that road. You think that's the right way to do it?
The landowner is consulted in this before any of that takes place on both sides of the road.
Mr. Northrop, you mentioned in your opening remarks that if hydrofracking did occur, that the landowners should have or would have their wells tested prior to hydrofracking. So you get your well tested and your water's fine, and let's just take a scenario that somebody that's been living on a farm for maybe about 5 or 6 generations and everything's been fine. And all of a sudden hydrofracking occurs, and all of a sudden you can put a match to your water and you can light it. Why are lawsuits going on? Because what that tells me is if that should happen to a farm owner, then this big company is going to come back and say, well, yeah, that's unfortunate, but you can't prove that it's our fault.
If I'm industry and I come to your house and say I'd like to do some seismic testing on your land and you say no, then the no means no.